Hi, good morning all. This is quite a difficult little homework that Germany has given me to do, to tell you about the SANDF in this short allocated time. Because I think that I could keep you busy for hours, as I've been a sailor for 24 years. But before we start, let me just quickly get something off my chest. The SANDF consists out of 4 pillars: Army, Air Force, Navy, and the Military Health Services. So when referring to our Defence Force, please say Defence Force or SANDF and not Army. Sailors like me don't like to be called Army. Now that that's off my chest, I'm sure that you have seen all the negative reports about the SANDF lately. You know, clubbing and drilling and giving civilians PT. Know that it is wrong. And if you come across evidence or witness such acts, please share it with me offline. But what you don't hear about is the military water bunkers that are driven hundreds of kilometers every single day to bring water to rural communities that are in need. Or the army engineers that have been deployed in all our provinces, not only to assist in the repairing of water installations, but also involved in purification of water and delivering up to 9,000 liters of water per hour per site. The fact that we have deployed forces in townships and rural areas that are so remote that the soldiers are not relieved for days on end, that's not reported. The SANDF is deployed in support of the police and the health department. Our military medics are conducting screening and testing of our own forces and civilians. And as we speak, field hospitals are being erected in rural areas that have no access to any type of healthcare facilities. Some of our men and women in uniform are buying food out of their own pockets to the poor and the elderly in the areas that they are deployed. And all this does not come at a small price, as daily members of the SANDF are being tested positive. And one member being tested positive quarantines a whole platoon. But that doesn't stop the job, so someone must take up the slack in circumstances where they are being sworn at, spit at, and recently even being thrown with stones. Over and above the COVID operation, or let's call it by its name, which is Operation Notlela, the borders still needs to be protected, and even more so now as it's been closed. We also have our obligations in the DRC that needs to be looked after. And then a little bit closer to home for me is the Navy. We're also involved in Notlela. Our Marines have been detached to serve with the Army units, and our ships are actively patrolling the sea borders as contraband and illegal immigrants are flowing into our country. And still, the lockdown does not stop poachers of perlemoen, kreef, human smuggling, drugs. All that still needs to be looked after. We are busy these days, and we will still be busy for a very long time. So I'm actually not here to bitch and moan and to try and convince you that we are working hard under difficult circumstances. I'm here to ask you 2 things. 1, to remember that I'm in the Navy, serving in the South African National Defence Force. And secondly, if you could pray for our men and women in uniform. Pray for patience and pray for protection. There's a small clip to follow. Please don't see it as propaganda, but just see it as a small window into the massive effort that's being put into combating COVID-19.